the fans, it doesn't come through on the. Good evening and welcome to Tiki Hut Central, the podcast. I'm your host, Ken Rose, and my co-host over there, Lisa. Say hi to everybody on camera.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing good.
All right.
How about yourself?
I am great. Hey, we have two great guests here today. We've got Dustin and Shauna Vaughn from Integrative Precision Medicine, and we're going to learn all about integrative precision integrative medicine. I'm sorry. Shortly. So, hey, welcome to the show, guys. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, thanks. I'm wonderful.
You're going to have to reach up to that mic. You're good.
Okay.
You got to get more intimate with the mic. It just has to be. The closer you are, the more exotic you sound. So that's how the mic works. We've got a great show for you tonight, folks. We're going to talk about wellness, and we're going to talk about Dustin's journey from being a firefighter all the way to how they found Claremont and Groveland, and we'll go from there. But as you know, everybody, from the start of every show, we always like to start the show with a cold local brew. So give me a second. I'm going to hand out some beer here, and if you don't like beer, that's okay, but we're going to bust them out anyway. Hang on a second. Here you go, kid. Pass it down.
Cute can.
Of course. If you don't like beer, that's okay. I know that Dustin brought some squirrel. So we're going to crack these open. This is called Sunshine State Florida Lager. It's an amber lager, and it comes directly from the Florida Beer Company, somewhere in the state here. I don't know where it says. It doesn't even say where, which is very poor marketing. See, Shauna, you have to learn about marketing. It doesn't even tell you where in Florida. Just that it's Sunshine State beer. So let's pop them open.
So I'm going to save a beer because I won't drink a whole one, but I'll take a taste.
Oh, okay. Well, give me that back because those are expensive. All right.
I haven't drank out of it yet. You want me to get a glass?
No,
For her to
I'll
sample?
just
Oh, you're going to. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, it's actually pretty good. It's got a good alcohol content. What do you think,
Not
Lisa?
bad. Yeah.
Is all right with you?
Yeah.
What do you think, Dustin?
It's not bad at all.
Smooth.
Smooth?
It's smooth. It's pretty good.
Shauna? Not your thing?
I'm not a beer drinker.
What's your cup of tea?
Margaritas.
Oh.
She needs to come to one of our summer.
Well, I think we're doing mojitos at some
Summer
point.
podcast.
So
I'll take
we'll
one.
do mojitos, and we'll probably do tequila sunrises, all that crazy.
I'm not a beer
tequila stuff.
drinker either, but the lagers I can tolerate.
Okay.
Keeping in mind, Sunshine State is not a sponsor. We just like to sample local beer because it gives us an excuse to drink. Well, again, welcome to the show, folks, and we appreciate you coming out. And I know that you folks are from the east side of town, like way up in Sanford. So tell us about how you wound up here in Groveland and Claremont.
So that is a better explained story from Sean.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, well, so we're both Florida natives. I'll start there. I need to get intimate with the mic.
Oh, see, yeah, there you go. See, now you're learning. You're learning
Okay,
already. You're a
so-
professional.
Yeah. Move over. We're both native Floridians. I'm South Floridian. He's Space Coast. So we found our way to the Claremont Groveland area from the Sanford Lake Mary area totally on accident. We really wanted water frontage. We really wanted to be by the water. I grew up on a lake. Dustin grew up obviously by the ocean. And we found this house here in the Groveland area and fell in love. And our realtor thought we were nuts because we were moving from, Sanford, and it was an
Sure.
hour and 15 minutes away.
Moving from the city.
I'm sure Scott's watching, right? So anyway, he said, go out there, try it, see if you like it, test the waters, get to know the area. We did. We fell in love. The rest is kind of history. It was totally an accident, though, because we thought we would be in Seminole County.
Wow. Well, welcome to Lake County.
Thanks.
I mean, Lake County's a blast. I mean, it's very, there are more people out. I guess it's outdoorsy around here, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's outside. It's amazing people own homes because everybody's outside all the time.
Yeah. It was kind of kismet.
Now, Dustin, you were a firefighter, and you were a firefighter out on the Space Coast, right? Were you involved with NASA at all? NASA?
I was.
That's
So
my
I
New York
started my journey- Not
NASA, Bahamas, no.
Not the Bahamas.
NASA.
Correct. Yes, at NASA, Kennedy Space Center. I started my career as a firefighter out in Cape Canaveral. Started there, went to Sanford Airport Fire Department, then went from there, jumped to NASA, where I worked at Kennedy Space Center. I was on the special teams out there. I was a search and rescue. I dove out of helicopters and stuff. I was a heavy rigging specialist
Wow.
for
Fun.
So I did a lot of fun stuff. Adrenaline junkie, right? So that's why I did. That's why I got into the fire service because I wanted to be the guy running into the burning buildings instead of the guys running out. So I did it. It was fun. But then I did finish my career out in Seminole County. So I did the last 5 years of my career in Seminole County in Altamont Springs.
Wow,
Nice.
that's awesome. Now I got to ask you, what's the most rewarding moment of being a firefighter EMT?
Well, saving lives.
Saving lives is huge.
Literally. So I mean, your emergency medicine. There's always it's awesome to be able to find somebody and always leave them in a better shape than you found them.
Right.
Whether it be just leaving them a little bit better or bringing them back from knocking on death's door. So
Have you ever had anybody come back to you like years later and say, thank you?
we actually they're the ones who come and bring cookies and bring brownies
Yeah.
and all kinds of crazy stuff to the fire station, and after their loved ones come back or after they come back and
Right.
they reward the guys or thank the guys that
That's
the
great.
crew that saved them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Now, one of the things that I was reading about being a firefighter, and I'm actually familiar with firefighters.
Okay.
You may have been a volunteer.
Growing up on Long Island, in New York, all fire departments are volunteer. So I was a volunteer fireman for a couple of years. In fact, Hurricane Gloria came through Long Island. I was out there doing that. And one of the things that we used to do, which I see here, is your firefighter combat challenge. Now, if it's anything like what we had to do, we had to lug hose up ladders. We had to hook up a fire extinguisher and all kinds of crazy stuff. How was that for you?
So the firefighter combat challenge is what ESPN dubbed the toughest 2 minutes in sports. So you're wearing full bunker gear, you're on your air pack, so you got your air pack on your back, and then of course you're breathing off of it. You have to run up 5 stories of stairs carrying a 42-pound high-rise pack, dump it into a box, then reach over the railing, grab a hose. We'll grab a rope where you have to hoist a donut roll, a hose roll. The also weighs 42 pounds up the 5 stories. Throw it in a box, then run down the stairs without any hose, thankfully. That's the lightest time you get to be on the course. You run down all the stairs, then you got to go through a forcible entry simulator. It's a Kaiser sled. You got to knock a 160-pound sled the distance of 5 feet. Then you got to run a serpentine, grab a charged hose line, run, what's the distance, 75 feet with that, go through saloon doors, hit a target, and then drag a dummy 110 feet to the finish line. 175 pounds, 6'1" dummy. So I was shorter than the dummy and way less than the dummy. So it was like,
I'm only a 5'9" dummy.
I guess to be
But I'm over 200 pounds. So
to be most correct, I guess I have to call it a mannequin.
Mannequin.
I don't
Oh
wanna-
yeah, we
Right,
don't want to.
A dummy.
It was a mannequin.
He was probably smart.
Hey, look, I've been married 4 times. The dummy is like my middle name. Now, I'm not going to leave you out, Shauna. What do you do? Because obviously this guy's an adrenaline junkie. So how does that fit into your style of living?
That's a really good question. I am not an adrenaline junkie, so I'm probably the balance in this situation. Although I have, he's gotten me into things like canyoneering, right? So we do crazy things.
Wait. What is canyoneering?
So we have been out to Zion, places in Utah, out west.
Oh, wow.
And you hike up and then you rappel down.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, I mean, he
Ken and I will not be canyoneering.
Oh, it's so fun.
It is fun.
It really is.
Oh.
It's so fun. So, in some ways he has kind of encouraged me to be a little bit more adventurous, but I'm definitely not the risk taker between the two of us. So my role, I do have a full-time job. A lot of people don't know that about, our business here in Claremont, but I do have a full-time job, and so I'm doing that. And yeah,
And that's what keeps you going every day.
right. Well, sort of, yeah.
And balance. Now, earlier while we were having dinner, you guys mentioned that you have a boat. So do you guys play on the boat? You do tube or wakeboard or water ski, or what else
Yes.
can you do
So-
on a boat that's not illegal?
Well, so we both surf. So we surf behind the boat. We have a wake boat. So
Oh,
we do a lot of surfing. I grew up on the East Coast, like I said, over in the Titusville area, where I, was 20 minutes to the beach all the time.
Sure.
So I did a lot of surfing. Sometimes the waves are better than school. So anyway, so I did a lot of surfing there in the ocean, and then of course coming out here, I got into wake surfing, where we got to surf behind the boat, which is like an endless wave, because I call it the lazy surf, because you don't have to paddle out past the break to catch a wave. You actually just get behind the boat and get pulled up with a surf rope. So
It looks super cool. I've
Yeah.
seen it.
it's
I've
much
seen it
more.
too.
It's a lot of fun. It's a blast. I still wakeboard from time to time, but it hurts a lot more when you fall wakeboarding compared to surfing. Surfing is much more easy and you just slowly fall into the water. It's much less impact
Yeah, we can take you guys out sometime. It's
for
fun.
sure.
Yeah, I'll mark that in the calendar because this is the second couple that's invited us out on a boat this year. Now. So our goal is to have
Good
friends
for
that
it.
have boats, and every weekend we can boat with them.
Okay.
We're good for it.
You know, and
Sounds good.
my thing with boating is and I tell people all the time. I said if you invite us, we'll bring food, we'll bring drinks, we'll pay for fuel,
Sure.
we'll wash whatever you need to get done because we want to get a second visit, and that's really in fact that's the goal of dating. Really, is
Right.
you want to get that second date. So.
You want that second boat date.
Right. Lisa loses her mind. So now I also understand you're also a paramedic, and Sean had mentioned that you're going to keep that license.
I'm not going to let that go. So that was a year. That was a year of hell, I always say. But yeah, it was a lot of work to get it. I've kept it for a while now, and I'm going to continue to keep it as long as I can.
They say if your marriage or your relationship can survive paramedic school, you're golden.
Mm.
So we actually just started dating when he was starting paramedic school. So we survived that first. That was our first test, so to speak. So then, we did that. And
Wow.
Then med school probably was a real joy.
yeah, med school pales in comparison, but yeah.
Man. Well, I mean, being an adrenaline junkie, it's definitely a plus to being an EMT because if you're not knocked out, at least you can fix stuff that breaks when you're out there doing your
I am the emergency responder still. I feel like some
For yourself?
both for myself and anybody else. It seems like when people get hurt, they usually want to get in touch with me or find out if, hey, does this need stitches? Or
Well, as everybody knows, at the Tiki Hut, we're dog friendly, so sometimes they're out there roaming, protecting the assets of the home.
That was a quick bark,
That
though.
was a quick bark,
Oh,
and here they go again. But that's okay. That's just part of the show. Well, excellent. So, I mean, we really covered a lot: firefighter, EMT, all this crazy stuff. So I also read that you had an issue with your bicep.
oh, okay.
And-
So that was how I basically found acupuncture years ago.
So tell us the story.
So I was always an athlete myself growing up. I grew up with my stepdad as a powerlifter, bodybuilder. So I learned about movement early.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about a lot of diet, things like that go along with it. But as I grew up, I played football for high school. I played basketball just for fun. But then I got into firefighting. I got into CrossFit. I was a CrossFit coach for many years. I got hurt actually just training, doing some Olympic lifting. I got hurt. Landed a barbell on the back of my neck. Didn't know that's what caused this. So I lost the use of my bicep. After I lost the use of my bicep, I have numb and tingly all down my arm and the first few fingers. Went to see an orthopedic because I said, that's the person that would probably know what to do, how to fix it. Went to see an orthopedic. Orthopedic looked at me dumbfounded, couldn't figure out what the issue was. Didn't know why it wasn't working. And I already told him the story about how I landed a barbell on my neck, probably 3 or 4 days prior. And he didn't draw any, correlation or any parallels with it. So then he looked at me after evaluating me and said that, he didn't understand or didn't know. And I said, is it possible that when I landed the barbell on my neck that I bruised the nerve, and that's what's causing the nerve, the lack of use of bicep and, the numbness and tingling and all that stuff.
Sure.
So then he looked at me and he goes, yeah, it's called radiculopathy. I want to see you back in 4 weeks. I was like, no. I don't. I think so. I went and found an acupuncturist because I figured it's nervous system related. It's with nerve. Saw an acupuncturist, an acupuncture physician. He did acupuncture after the first treatment. I got a little bit of movement back. I got some, it started to move a little bit. So it was completely. It didn't work. I couldn't make it work. So then after the second session, I got full use of it. So and all the numbness and tingling was gone.
So 2 sessions.
So 2 sessions.
Crazy.
Wow.
I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So when I was evaluating things, when I was ready to retire from the fire service. Most firefighter paramedics make the jump when they decide they want to get all their ducks in a row to be a physician's assistant. A lot of them are VPAs or NPs. I chose acupuncture because I had really good experiences. I know it works, and I wanted to treat people holistically in integrative medicine. So naturally, I fell into acupuncture as being my choice for med school.
Wow.
nice.
Now, I mean, acupuncture is kind of those weird things because people are like, well, I don't know if I can shove needles in my body. I mean, look, obviously with your tattoos and my tattoos, bring the needles on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how we roll. So how'd you begin your career in medicine? I mean, what was there just that one incident said, hey, this is what I want to do?
Well, I mean, obviously I was practicing medicine. So I was an iron worker. I ran a fab shop. I did a bunch of stuff in I always say my previous life.
How many jobs you have?
That was a previous life.
That's a good story.
That's a
well, go ahead. We've got
right.
nothing but time. Iron worker is
Okay, so here's some fun facts.
A welder.
okay.
When we first met, Dustin was about to turn 30, and he kept mentioning like, "Oh, I did that. I've done that before. I've been an iron worker. I've done this. And I'm like, how many jobs have you had? I
Sure.
asked that question, right?
like, golly, is this the guy you want to marry?
Right.
I mean,
By the time this guy was 30 years old, he had like 42 different lines of work. And I'm not talking about like he worked 9 years as an iron worker at a few different fab shops.
mhm.
And that counts as one line of work, right?
Okay.
So by the time
Right.
he was 30, he had 42. By the
Wow.
time he turned 40, this is
I don't even
over
know the
60.
number.
Over 60 lines of work.
Holy crap. I got one job and I've had for 40 years. I still can't figure it out.
Right. So, and it sounds worse than it is, I promise. But it was like, when you're a firefighter, you have a lot of firefighters have other jobs. Well,
Right.
at one point, he had 4 jobs. So he was an EMT at the hospital in the emergency room. He was a firefighter. He was a lifeguard. And what else? What was the 4th?
Personal trainer.
A personal trainer, right?
Wow.
So crazy. And it's just always been that, that's what firefighters kind of do. They have other jobs.
Sure.
So he always just had something else.
Well, and then 2 of those jobs were full-time jobs at the same time. So that was stupid. So
They usually have like a landscaping business or something.
a lot
They don't
of-
have like other real jobs. I mean,
there's a lot of
they
landscaping.
serve hot dogs at the fair or something. Holy
I was
mackerel.
a full-time firefighter and a full-time ER tech working in an ER in Titusville area, and a lifeguard and personal trainer.
How did you have time to sleep?
I my shtick, I used to always tell everybody that I'll sleep when I'm dead, and then it really started to catch up with me. So now something had to give. So yeah,
Anyway, how did we get there? What was
I
the
don't know.
original question? I don't remember.
I don't even. Because I asked how he started his career in
Oh, in
medicine.
medicine,
So
yeah.
you wound up going off on some tangent about being an iron worker. So I don't know. I was interested anyway. I was like, holy
Squirrel.
crap, this guy's got a lot of jobs. Speaking of squirrel, I see some squirrel peanut butter whiskey there.
yeah.
So anyway, now you're here in Lake County, and you've got precision integrative medicine.
Yes.
That's a lot of crap for an URL or for an email address. So
How did they answer the phone?
yeah, I know they have to read a script just to get through the name of the company. So
PIM.
there you go. So let's start. Where did the name come from? Where did the name, the logo, where'd that come from?
So the logo just came from me brainstorming because I started drawing some lines on paper and decided what I wanted to do, and that's how we ended up, getting somebody to help us out, actually put graphic together.
Sure.
But yeah, it just started out with lines on a paper. It kind of started out as almost like an infinity sign that I kind of drew almost like a Celtic knot, and then it transformed.
Yeah, that's kinda what it looks like.
What we have now.
That's cool.
So that's how I kind of wanted to do it like the infinity, but then I wanted it to be more than one branch. And then what we have basically is like 4 different pillars of medicine that I offer, which
And it has
works
4
out very well. So yeah,
circles.
if you kind of see the logo, it's like 4 different individual pillars of medicine, basically,
But they're interwoven and,
because they're all
entwined.
interdependent.
So they may overlap with different types of
Right,
treatments
sure.
where you can use multiple treatments for.
Yeah, because there's a
So-
lot of overlap and interdependence because that's holistic medicine, right? So that's our bodies are very complicated and they need to be in balance for you to be healthy. So there, a lot of that happens and comes into play whenever you're trying to balance and achieve wellness.
Our very first Instagram post on the business page explains the logo.
Oh, okay.
Like there were.
I thought I did a lot of research, Shauna. You're really
No,
messing
it's
up
okay.
now.
I'm sorry. No, for those listening, I was just, if you want to learn more about the logo, it actually has a story. So yeah, he told it
I think that's great.
really well.
But if not, check out the Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, like it.
Instagram.
I mean, we just wanted a talking iguana for the logo. I mean, okay, let's go. So there's 4 different pillars. So pillar number 1 is.
So basically, the different modalities that I actually have on the website. So there's different modalities of treatment that I offer. I offer like non-needle therapy. I offer acupuncture, obviously. But acupuncture is a big umbrella and it covers a lot of different things. So
Okay.
under acupuncture, I still can do cupping, instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization. A lot of people know it as Graston technique. There's acupoint injection therapy, which is really huge because a lot of people really benefit from acupoint injection therapy. That's chronic knee pain, any joint pain, really. Any joint pain, any muscle pains. I help a lot of athletes. I help a lot of people with mobility. I don't want to say just the elite athletes, but I help a lot of people in general with just movement and mobility. I can help, the 75, 76-year-old lady, 75, 76-year-old, 86-year-old man that just has issues walking or knee pain when they're walking. Because of that, it's causing a domino effect. If you have knee pain, now your hips are messed up. Now your back is messed up. There's a lot of other things that kind of stem from it. So I help people get them back moving more freely because that way I got to keep you moving.
And the fourth one is my favorite. It's facial rejuvenation.
Okay, well, before we cover that, we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to jump back real quick. So what is the primary difference between acupoint and acupuncture? Because I guess they both involve needles.
So in acupuncture in itself, so there's a difference in injection therapy. So that acupoint injection therapy is what we're talking about. Acupuncture obviously is on the same acupuncture points. You're placed in a very small needle. When I work with children, a lot of times I go through, and anybody that gets acupuncture the first time, I do a lot of education. I talk to people about it. Some people are needle phobic or they're just not comfortable with needles. So I talk them through it and show them what we do, how we do it. And I start with one needle. And after I do one needle, I ask my pediatric patients or even adults alike, I ask them, how was it? Is it like I said? And I show them a little guide tube and I tap on the little straw. It's like a little straw. And I tap on the straw when I introduce the needle to their body. And I ask them, did you even feel the needle? Even my kids, the kids that come, not my kids, I don't have kids, but the
smart, very smart. That's how you keep all your money.
My pediatric patients, anyway. So my pediatric patients, when they come in, and after I've done the first needle, I usually ask them, how was that? Are we okay to do, I might start with 4 needles and say, we're only going to do 4 today. We'll start with 1. If you don't like it, we won't do any more. But if it's okay, then we'll do the other 3. And usually they're fine with it. Like, yeah, put as many as you want, as long as you don't do my face.
Really?
So the kids are usually, they're opposed to facial injections or facial needles until they have a couple. And then I had a couple kids that were 7, 8, and 9 years old that would point to different points on their face and they would call them their happy points. So like, are we going to do the happy point today? I was like, yes, we will do your happy point today. And they called it the happy point because they thought it made them feel happy. It made them feel relaxed. It made them feel, comfortable, whatever.
So acupoint.
So the acupoint injection therapy is where I do and use a solution, right? So thanks for bringing me back to.
Yeah, you're a good host. Let's go.
So anyway, back to that when I do acupoint injection therapy, I'm leaving a solution behind. So that might be vitamin B12. It could be my lipamino mix, which is a lipotropic amino blend. It could be some of my other injections, my sports injections, or athletic type inflammation type stuff. What I'm using is let's go to B12. I'll talk about B12. So when I use B12, you can go anywhere and get a B12 injection pretty much nowadays. You can go to Central Care, probably CVS might even do it. But they just either stick it in your shoulder or stick it in a point at your hip. Now that's very generalized. There's no other benefit besides the B12. Where when I use acupuncture points, then I'm actually placing the solution on an acupuncture point. And the more I know my patient, if they're only coming in for an injection, I might know very little and they just might be getting the B12 and they might be out the door. The more I know my patient, the more I'm able to ask questions. I can find out what other symptoms or what other health conditions they have going on, and I can use whatever acupoint would best suit their needs and their health goals. And then I leave the solution behind, so they're still getting the B12. It's going to be more effective, and it's going to be for a specific purpose at that point. Well, literally a point.
Interesting.
That makes a lot of sense. I've been taking B12 complex for a while now, and hopefully I'm avoiding COVID by that. I don't know. I'm staying away from people also, which is probably another reason why. But
they said vitamin D helps with
vitamin D,
keeping COVID away.
Vitamin K, hi. So let me ask you, who is the typical client at Precision Integrative Medicine?
Good question, because I don't think I have a typical patient. I have people of all different disciplines of sports. I have people geriatric community as well as pediatric. So I've seen and work with kids in high school playing football, kids.
I'd say generally people are in pain or they have some kind of movement or mobility issue. There are a couple of exceptions.
Yeah, I guess
like
mobility.
Neuropathy. There are a couple of patients with neuropathy, but that still falls into like pain mobility, because if you can't feel your extremities, you're having an issue moving, and you know. So I'd say that that's probably like an umbrella, maybe.
I guess the most common patients would be like mobility
issues.
mobility and pain issues. But yeah, I do have some very, I see patients with any problem. That's not just, I specialize in integrative sports medicine, movement mobility, but I still see patients for any reason. Like I still do get patients that have very complex cases, very complex health concerns that they're dealing with and trying to achieve, health and wellness holistically, and just trying to get away from, or they're finding no other help or no other hope in Western medicine. People sometimes get told that there's nothing more that they can do, and then they finally find acupuncture, or somebody will just say on a Facebook group or whatever, "Have you tried acupuncture?" And then they find me and they come in and then they wish they had found me 20 years ago.
Right.
So that's, unfortunately, it seems like acupuncture and a lot of integrative holistic medicine is like a last resort. Like a friend will say, hey, have you tried acupuncture? Have you tried chiropractor? Have you tried whatever it is? And all of a sudden they stumble onto it. They wish they wish that they found us, decades ago.
Well, I think Dustin, like you said earlier, just having a bicep injury, and after one treatment you saw some result, and after two treatments, it really made a big difference. And I don't like to compare, or maybe I'm going to contrast this, but I know with chiropractic medicine, it seems to be a long-term care program, even 6, 8, 10 visits before somebody possibly gets a sense of relief, whether it's sciatica, whether it's knee pain. So how does the acupuncture, because from what you're saying and what you've experienced, it seems that is a more, I don't want to say a faster process, but it seems to be
it can be. So and there's no cookie cutter response to that really, because chiropractic similar, right? So the faster you get treatment for an injury or a problem, the faster you're going to see results. In an acute injury, if I hurt myself tonight, then I'm going to want to see somebody as quick as possible to try to get that, on the way to recovery, because the longer you deal with something more chronic pain, I'm not saying if you've had it for 20 years, it takes 20 years to fix, but going back to that question is like, with chiropractors, there's different chiropractors, there's different treatment modalities, there's different treatment plans per patient, and that's all dependent on the patient's individual needs. So it could be, it's a gray area.
But generally speaking, though, your objective is to, and it's a bad business model, but the idea is to fix people. Yeah. Like we don't want them to come in and put them on, a twice a week schedule if we don't have to. Now there are some conditions where it does warrant that you come in a couple of times a week, at least when you're initially getting the treatment, to just kind of load up on the treatments, and then you can kind of taper down. And that's kind of the exception. But otherwise, I mean, honestly, his objective is to fix people and send them on. And then you come back when you need. If your pain comes back.
When I'm talking about like movement mobility, like an athlete, for instance, I talk a lot about preventative medicine, because if your body's not running like a smooth oiled machine, you get hurt.
Sure. So
if you have a tight muscle or sore quads or whatever after a heavy leg day, you get out there and you're doing whatever movement, maybe it's track and field, maybe it's, you're playing basketball, whatever, you're favoring your legs a little bit. Now that can cause a back issue, or that can cause a knee issue, or there's just all other problems that can happen from that. So I try to talk to people about preventative medicine by keeping their body running smoothly and keeping them in that free movement phase, I guess.
Well, I think Sean, one of the things that you mentioned, like it may not be the perfect business model when you're fixing people, but at the same token, if you're healing people, then they're going to tell somebody else, and so ultimately that is the business model,
right? That's exactly
because you don't want that patient, that client to say, "Wow, I've been going to Dr. Vaughn for 8 months or a year, and there's no results. I feel I'm throwing money away." So if you can heal people, or I don't know that you can heal people like from sciatica, things like that. Maybe you can, but I think it's about giving them a better quality of life. And I think anybody that gets a better quality of life, I don't know what just happened there. Where's
the
that
battery's running low.
On what?
On the laptop.
Oh, plug it in.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Sorry, I walked in.
Sorry, we always have a technical difficulty here at the Tiki Hut. You know, this is what happens when you're out on an island. There's no electricity. It's a poor internet signal. It's the same old story all the time.
Sorry about that.
So, are we good now?
I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in. Yep.
Now, we've talked a lot about acupuncture, working with needles, but you also mentioned that there is a non-needle type of a program. So what is that? Because that seems to be more of a surface type thing than a...
Yes and no.
I don't
So it is, but so what I have is I have a neurostim device, which is a microcurrent device that I can actually stimulate acupuncture points. Some kids or adults even that are deathly afraid of needles.
That used to be me.
Yeah.
So now you like needles? Now you're good?
No, she's good. But yes, she used to be that person that was deathly afraid of needles, would break out into a sweat, hyperventilate, all that good stuff. Still does it if she has to give blood, but anyway, she would use this microcurrent device. So basically what it does is I can stimulate acupuncture points using the device where it gives it a microcurrent delivered to each point, and I do it for 20 or 30 seconds per point. It might seem takes a little bit longer. Does it still help? Yes, it does help. Is it as effective as acupuncture? I don't, using actual needles. No, I don't believe it is, but I do know that it helps patients regardless. So it can,
it's
it
like
can help.
shock type of, like shock.
Yeah,
I can
and
say
it's
shock
actually-
therapy because they put you in an electric chair, and that
It's not
doesn't seem to
shock
cure anything.
It's
But
not shock therapy. It is
it's a stimulation, though. It's
Right.
It's a small
stimulation
current.
of the acupuncture point. So basically, I can push on points on your body and help things like, headache or gastrointestinal disorders or things like that, where you can actually feel better instantly just from acute pressure. But using this point stimulator or this neurostim device, which stimulates your nervous system, using microcurrent, which most mimics your body's natural energy, it actually provides more feedback for your body, more information for your body, and actually helps, because that's what needles essentially are doing, because we're accessing your peripheral nervous system with a needle. We leave it there for 15, 20 minutes. And I like to use the programming a computer or hacking into a computer as a kind of an analogy, I guess, because I say you have to hack into a computer to change the operating system or change, maybe to fix it. In this case, I hack into your body's nervous system for your peripheral nervous system using acupuncture needles, and I can access different points on your body, and I can help reprogram your body so that it can heal itself and fix itself, or bring energy or bring attention to areas that are deficient. I deal with people with gastrointestinal disorders that have, you name it. There's irritable bowel. So there's all kinds of different problems that people are seeing nowadays. And I can access different points on your arm that suddenly makes your stomach feel, much better, or where you were upset or having gastrointestinal like bloating and distension and stuff after eating. I can push a point or access it with a needle, and all of a sudden that distension, it just kind of fades away.
Right.
Weight loss.
Really cool.
Well, we're going to cover that in just a little bit because it's about our summer bodies.
We have a couple of comments that I just noticed.
Well, and let me just stop you there.
Okay.
If anybody's watching the show and has comments, even if you have questions, you can call right into the show, 407-443-4015. The ticker tape's going at the bottom, and you can talk to Dr. Vaughn and his beautiful wife here and find out all about it. But go ahead. You have some questions?
So, hey, Dr. and Mrs. Vaughn, give a shout out to your favorite Auntie M and Uncle Steve. Somebody named Jackie Peterson says, let us see Shauna's face, because I guess the camera is in front of your face a lot.
Sorry, Jackie. Jackie is with Splash Marketing here in town.
Sheila LeBlanc says his 40th birthday was a real celebration.
That's my mother. Hi, Mom.
And she
Hi,
said,
Michelle. Hi.
if your knee doesn't work or has pain, for example, he can fix it. Injection therapy, it works.
Wow.
There you go.
There is a live, what do we call that? A testimonial.
A testimonial.
Live. That's amazing. Now, I was going to bring up Lisa, only because you always experience some neck pain. You had an issue where it was running down your arm and your shoulder.
And I went to an orthopedic also.
Right.
There's really nothing they could do other than he wanted me to come back and do like a nerve test and, more money. And I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a chiropractor and had some stuff done and a lot of stretching. And eventually it got better, but I wish I'd known about that. I definitely would have.
You can always go.
Yeah.
You can always go.
Because I still have neck pain.
Yeah.
Like my neck is always
I
stiff.
have plenty of tricks up my sleeve for some stuff
A
like that.
lot of neck pain.
Oh, perfect. Now, Shauna mentioned earlier about homeopathic facial cosmetic
Rejuvenation.
rejuvenation. So Sounds like you may know more about that than the doctor does.
Love it.
She smiles when she talks about it.
Tell us about
So
that.
I'm a patient.
Well, you never know she's 72.
Yeah, Sean is 72.
Look at that face.
I'm broken out right now because I tried a new sunscreen and that was a mistake. Anyway,
But Gina, she's wearing sunscreen. See,
I am. So the facial rejuvenation is like the all natural alternative to Botox. So Botox actually paralyzes the muscles in your face. That's how it works. It makes it so that you actually can't smile, and that's why you don't have smile.
That's why they look so stiff.
Right. And they can't raise their eyebrows.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh.
Especially when they go south of the border, they don't know what they're getting injected in their skin. Sorry.
Plastic.
Botox.
So what Dustin offers is actually, so what happens when you age is you lose collagen, you lose the hyaluronic acid that is all of the moisturized, the natural moisture in your face and in your body. And as you age, that just kind of goes away. Like your body stops producing it as much. Correct me if I'm wrong, Doc. But basically what Dustin does is with these facial rejuvenation injections, rather than paralyzing the muscles in your face, which is what Botox does, and it works for that, this actually is a homeopathic that encourages your body to produce the collagen and the hyaluronic acid. So yeah, homeopathy works in that like cures like, and in this case, you're introducing the collagen and the other hyaluronic acid. I don't know how it works exactly. That's his job, but it makes your body produce that so that, you're just regenerating what you already have.
After like one treatment, or how many treatments until it starts producing itself?
I'll let him answer that.
that's a loaded question with a complicated answer.
Leave it to me.
So,
All right. Well, could you see some sort of a result after one or two?
absolutely.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, you
Okay.
actually.
I think that's
see
a better
results
way
after
to.
one treatment. And I always have to say individual results
Oh, yeah.
vary,
Mhm.
but each person is different. Each lifestyle is different.
Mhm.
Everything, some person might want to, bake in the sun all the time without sunscreen or without
Right.
shade or whatever, and drink
Smoking,
like a fish and
drinking.
smoke. So that's individual. Individual results may vary. That being said, some people, and you will see results a lot of times after just one session. Now it depends on the person. Some people might need 3 to 5 sessions before they see the results that they're looking for. But then basically after you get where you're happy or you're trying to get to, basically, because everybody has different goals.
Yeah.
So whenever they get to where they're happy, then they just come for maintenance, because I can't stop the aging process. I can only minimize the effects of it. That's kind of what I like to tell people. Obviously, if we stop the aging process, that's bad. So
Well, I don't know about
we don't
that.
want to stop the aging
Well,
process.
then you die, right?
Then you die.
You're 6 feet under.
Cancel
You want
Christmas.
age.
We don't want to do that. We're not doing that. So what we want to do is we want to minimize the effects of it. So we want to keep those, fine lines and wrinkles and creases and whatever the problem is that people are self-conscious about. By doing so, I cause microtrauma to the area. I leave a solution behind. So yes, the areas are plump immediately.
Mhm.
They're moisturized. They're healing from the little micro trauma. So you might have a couple little mosquito bite looking areas, but that's it. A lot of my patients that have been coming to me lately, they've been leaving no redness, no little marks left behind when they leave. So they're happy
Wow.
to go to work and they're fine. I have been using some after cream before I let them go put makeup on or something. And by doing so, there's no more like little red marks on their face, which is
Nice.
great. So yeah, she can attest to it because she's been there for the last couple of patients
I
that I've
love
seen.
it. I tell people, so it's the same thing with any other, treatment is when you feel like your result, when you feel like you need more, that's when you go back. And so in my case, when I can get my fingernails in this wrinkle right here, that's my WTF line.
I have one right in here. I would love
Right.
to get.
Yeah.
Well, you can get rid of that just by getting rid of 2 children.
Yeah, I'm always like frowning.
What?
That's what caused that.
You mean you express yourself? Well, you can't express yourself with Botox.
My
Can't tell if
frown
you're a
line.
man.
Yeah.
So is it Botox or is it? Oh,
No,
okay.
I
So
don't
it's
know.
not.
No.
I, as Tom dubbed it, I think, from Splash Marketing,
Yeah.
no talks.
No talk.
No talks.
He dubbed it no talks. He's like, can I use that? I said, yeah, sure, why not? We can use it no talks because it's
Secret
not,
ingredient, but it's not
non-toxic.
Botox.
it's non-toxic. So it does cause your body to regenerate and replenish and rehydrate, and there's a lot of re's. So it helps with a lot of that.
Yeah.
But it's actually
Awesome.
restoring, right? So it's restoring your body's natural collagen production, natural hyaluronic acid. It's helping your body to actually rejuvenate, which is why we call it facial rejuvenation, not Botox.
And that's
which is
another
just,
difference
you
with
know,
Botox too, is Botox is not meant to rejuvenate or
Mhm.
replenish anything. It just paralyzes things so that you can't express your emotions.
Well,
I mean, and no judgment to people who get it. You know, there's something
Yeah.
out there for everyone, and your personal preferences are totally your choice.
But I have worked with patients that have
Yeah.
been getting Botox, and then they come to me to try to work on the rejuvenation side to help them,
Mhm.
minimize the effects of aging, right? Because that's the whole idea. People are trying
Yeah.
to stop expressing themselves, so they stop having those fine lines and wrinkles, and then they come to me to help the body replenish and rejuvenate that skin because they want to still look young.
Mhm.
Spending all this money on Botox, they want to keep the,
Yeah.
the fine lines and wrinkles and the skin's thickness and collagen production and all that other good stuff that
Yeah.
goes with it.
And even Dustin has one patient, you can see results, like he said, after the first treatment,
Mhm.
but there's one person who, after her third treatment, I mean, you could just see the difference in the glow in her
Really?
face. Just she just had this different light, this different glow about her that was just really awesome to see, because we take before and after photos,
Mhm.
obviously, because we want to make sure that they know that there is a result to this. Just in that third session, though, the difference in just the glow, I don't know, there's no other way to describe it. It was pretty awesome. Good to see.
And
So-
the biggest thing is we always want to keep people coming on a pretty regular, like if they're going to do 3 sessions or 5 sessions or whatever, we try to tell people to come in and not space them out too far apart
Mhm.
because they want to, it's kind of getting after something, right? So you're tackling something head on, and then you get where you're going, and then you can take a break or take a little bit of time off, or take
And it's
3 weeks,
maintenance.
3 months, whatever it is for each person,
Mhm.
because each person's aging process and when they need it to come back is different. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, what you were saying?
No, I was. You kept saying
Hyaluronic acid.
all I think about when I hear that is Ava Longoria, because she's always on the TV talking about some skin thing that has it in because it rejuvenates the skin.
It does.
So all of this is very holistic. It's very
Mhm.
is it all safe?
So everything is all natural ingredients. All my
Plants.
homeopathics are like all natural botanicals and solutions. Everything comes from plants. Nothing is synthetic. Nothing is, made in a laboratory somewhere. Everything. There's no side effect. There's no contraindication. All of my homeopathics are that way. So people with joint pain or any joint issue and stuff, they've asked me, can I come back repeatedly for it?
Mhm.
Because you get cut off if you get cortisone shots. You can only have so many
Right.
per spot because it actually causes degradation of tendons and ligaments and muscle tissue and
Hmm.
joint like your actual bone density. It just does a lot. So, and it'll list it right there on the website if you look it up. So if you look about cortisone side effects, and then cortisone also has different things with like weight gain, and there's all kinds of other things with it. But anyway, there's no side effects. There's no contraindications. My patients can come in weekly, monthly. They can get as many as they want for any of my homeopathics because I don't offer anything other than homeopathics or vitamins. So
The reason he brought up cortisone, by the way, is he has also an all-natural alternative to cortisone.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who get cortisone shots, or in some cases like we've seen in the practice, people have maxed out their cortisone shots. They still have their joint pain. They don't know what else to do.
Mhm.
Come see Dustin and get this all-natural alternative, and
got relief in the very first
Awesome.
time.
Wow. I mean, I think that's better anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
you can only take so much codeine and oxycodone and all of
Exactly,
those
right.
painkillers, and
Yeah.
even
Better to get to
even
the
aspirin,
root of the problem.
or ibuprofen. You can only take so much
Mhm.
of it, and you have problems. So
right.
and it's the same concept, right? It's all about like the joint one one of the things he can help with is like to help with your synovial fluid, right? I'm learning all kinds of new
What's
words.
that?
So basically, like the lubrication in your joint, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, I usually mix a cocktail of different homeopathics depending on the person, depending on the complaint, whatever it is that's going wrong, or they're having that's going wrong. So for specific joint, like if I'm working on a knee, a lot of times I use a blend of a couple homeopathics. One of them knocks down inflammation, helps
Mhm.
with pain. Another one helps with arthritis, because a lot of times when you have chronic pain, that stuff kind of creeps into a joint space. You end up with arthritis, or if you have osteoarthritis, you have you get bone-on-bone pain. So you're really looking to another thing, like we were rehydrating the face, we want to rehydrate the joint area
Mhm.
too. So we want to provide lubrication to the joint. So homeopathics. Now I'm not sticking a long needle, shoving it down inside of a joint, doing ultrasound.
thank
guided.
God.
It's not one of those big needles that you have to. I've gotten those before in years past, from a sports injury. I've had a lot of injury.
Oh yeah, jumping out of helicopters as an EMT and a firefighter. Gosh, you got to carry a whole first aid kit with you wherever you
Rappelling
go.
down mountains.
Yeah, rappelling down
There
mountains.
was a joke that the guys at the firehouse used to say, and it used to be that I would fall up the stairs. I was that guy. But
Well, I don't know if I want you rescuing me if you fall up the stairs.
I could fall up the stairs. So it was mainly because when I ran the combat challenge, right? So I had that, done a high rise pack over my shoulder, and I'm running up, 5 stories, breathing air on an air tank and stuff, and I would trip on one step and throw the pack, and I didn't tumble, but I would fall.
Sure.
So the guys used to make fun of me and call me a fall risk and stuff, but it was all all in good fun.
It's all in good fun.
If they're not making fun of you, they don't like you. So that's how it usually works. But yeah. So basically, like with different joint pains and stuff like that, I know that people are afraid of those big long needles. They're afraid of getting those cortisone shots because they know they're painful.
All right.
My injections, I'm not sticking it down inside the joint. I like to use the analogy of how I oil a hinge. Like, so if you're oiling a hinge on your door, you squirt a little bit of oil on the hinge, and you don't expect it to miraculously get fixed.
To make an
The
appearance.
squeak is not going to go away. You have to move the door to lubricate, like to penetrate. And get all
I'm
that
sorry. The dog is
Come hang
talking.
out.
He's talking.
Yeah, he is.
Actually
She's
talking.
talking.
But
She is. Yeah,
She
that's
wants
funny.
to come in.
Before I forget, now with precision integrative, it's a twofold question. A, do you accept insurance? And B, if not, are there various programs that people can take a program that may be a number of treatments for whatever the rate may be?
Now, so I don't accept insurance.
Okay.
I'm pretty reasonably priced as far as my patients
Mhm.
have been telling me, especially for different medical providers in the area. So basically, an acupuncture session with me is $80.
Mhm.
$80 for an acupuncture session. If it's an acupuncture session, somebody wants to add a joint therapy or joint, homeopathic injection to it. I kind of been saying lately it's kind of like a la carte because I might offer different treatment modalities. Say that this would probably be the better option for you today, and we'll go from there.
Mhm.
And then I tell people that we should probably add an injection therapy session to your treatment today, and it's 20% off the injection therapy. Now, injection therapy, if we're adding it to an acupuncture session,
Mhm.
injection therapy by itself, if we're talking about joints, that's $55. So it's $55.
Mhm.
If you come in, if you have a shoulder issue, you want to get some joint, some acupoint injection therapy on your shoulder, it's $55. Now, I have had people that come in and say, well, I need this shoulder, this knee. While we're doing it, can we just go ahead and do this knee too?
You do it like
My lower
volume
back,
discount?
my lower back. So I did say, I'm not going to, I do have to charge basically because of solutions, right? So I have to use X amount of solution. I don't want to shortchange something
Sure,
and give them
okay.
less solution. So I say that instead of doing, multiple, I did a case where it was like buy 3, get 1 free or whatever.
Okay, all right.
And that was because you wanted to come in and she wanted, multiple, she wanted everything fixed all at once.
Well,
So like, okay, they wanted everything injected. So
Like
I'm
an old
okay,
Buick.
Well, we can do that. And I don't want to break the bank. And I do want to make sure that I help people and I want people to feel better. I always want to make sure that I, am helping people to achieve wellness and get better.
So
But basically, yeah, so it's acupuncture is $80. Injection therapy is normally $55 from a homeopathic injection therapy. If we're talking about my lipomino, I do lipomino, which we kind of mentioned a little bit about weight loss. I don't.
Oh, we're going to cover that in a minute
I don't
here because
specialize
that's
in weight loss, but
I'm excited
I do
about
help
that.
People with acupuncture injection therapy with my lipomino mix. It's a lipotropic amino acid blend. For an individual injection for that, it's $35. People are getting on a package price. They're buying my subscription. That's $100 a month. They get 4 injections per month. So they come weekly and they'll get an injection for $100. It's basically breaking down to be $25 a week, which isn't bad. My B12 shots cost $25 a week, or $25 per injection. I should
Okay.
say. So that just gives you an idea of how cheap that.
yes, that's
lipomino
really
is.
economical. That's,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
definitely
it's,
economical.
And so I'll just elaborate on the health insurance part. So a lot of health insurance doesn't cover what Dustin does anyway.
Mhm.
Some of them have gotten to where they will cover acupuncture,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
it's only like X number of dollars, or I don't know how they work it out exactly.
It's gotten really complicated.
Yeah, it
and
has.
as far as like when I get into my homeopathic injections, which a lot of people
They don't
really
cover
benefit
it.
from homeopathic injections,
Right.
they don't cover it.
No.
Even though
It
it's been
probably
around
has
for
to
like
be like-
2,000 years.
Right,
you
it's
know.
been around for
Oh,
a
that's
while.
kind
They
of,
probably consider it last ditch effort. We want you to see this person and get this medicine, and then all else
Well,
fails, then
Honestly, we could get on a whole tangent about that. The truth is that
this is not an insurance show.
the truth
How long
is
do we have? I mean,
there's no money for the insurance companies
Right.
in it because
Right.
it's all natural. And a lot of pharmaceuticals are based on the very herbs that
Mhm.
Dustin either is prescribing as medicinal, like herbs, like medicine that you would take, or the homeopathics that he's injecting. So a lot of that is in pharmaceuticals, and so why would they?
Right.
Why? I don't know why not,
It's-
but they
well,
won't advocate
right.
for the all natural when you can go for the synthetic. It's weird, right?
Well, it's all about the big drug making money.
Yeah, I won't
This
get-
isn't a political show, but
I'm
that's
gonna
all
step-
about
I'll leave that alone.
step down off
big
the soapbox,
pharmaceuticals.
right, yeah.
now one of the things that I noticed on your website, I got excited about, and I'm going to read what it said. It said, "Kickstart your summer body." Now I'll tell you what, I'm still working on my like fall to winter body, and so it needs a big ass kickstart. And as everybody knows, I mean, Memorial Day weekend, we honor our veterans that have passed away in war and all of that, and it's the unofficial start of summer, even though summer starts on June 21st. But I saw this, and it said about getting your summer body, and I need to do that, and it's fat burning, and
Same here.
there's a lot of words there that I can't pronounce. So tell us about the lipomino program,
Yeah.
how it works, what it does to the body, and let's help some people out there get into their bikinis.
All right. So
Older men, no bikinis.
I want to see
Any
you
man.
in a bikini.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
we have a joke, because I have two Speedos, but only when Alyssa goes to work or leaves over a friend's house overnight I can wear them. Otherwise it's board shorts, because it's just
Don't want to freak the kid out.
You know what? I'm pretty old, so most of my life I've spent hiding what I do for my parents, and then you have kids. You spend the rest of your life hiding what you do from your kids, and by the time I'm 90, I'll be able to run around the house naked, I guess, and not care or not even know that I'm running around the house.
She better not be living with us till you're 90.
But go, sorry, I went off on that. But go ahead, tell us what it is. Tell us about the program and what people can expect and all.
Okay, so Lipomino Mix is, I briefly touched on it. I didn't go into details. Lipomino Mix is a lipotropic amino acid blend, right? So it's aminos and lipotropic. The lipotropic side of it, a lot of people are familiar with a MIC shot, right? So MIC, M-I-C, it's methionine, inositol, and carnitine.
Okay.
So carnitine helps your body, helps your muscle. It's amino acids, right? So it helps your body recover after exercise, helps your muscles, but it also helps with mood. So it helps with mood stabilization, helps with brain function kind of thing. A lot of people get it for a lot of other reasons besides weight loss, and they're seeing a lot of really awesome results with it. But what I offer is a souped up version. I have been told by my patients they've called it Mic Ultra.
Right.
So because it's like the Mic
Oh,
shot.
yeah, the Mic.
It's like the Mic shot.
Right.
It's the Ultra version. So,
Nice.
Because it's lipomino. What it is
Not watered down.
Not watered down. So this is
Not the low calorie.
it's not the low calorie. Well, it's no calorie. Anyway, so basically what it does is it's actually helping your body convert fat into energy. That's actually beneficial for a lot of people, not just people trying to lose weight. So people that are on a weight loss plan, whatever that might be, or people just eating a healthy eating regimen, it's just helping your body catalyze fat, use it for energy, and it's actually saving your blood glucose level. For those athletes that are like long distance athletes, we have a lot of triathletes in the area, a lot of long distance runners and cyclists, and you name it. It really helps those people because on long distance exercise, you have to keep your blood glucose up because you'll hit that brick wall.
Sure.
You always, and anybody that's done any kind of a workout that's lasted longer than 30 minutes, you hit a wall like where you're out of juice. What this does is by burning fat for energy, it's basically converting that and burning for energy. So you're saving that blood glucose level so you don't hit that wall. If you're doing a long distance exercise, maybe you're in the hills of Claremont and you're cycling. Those hills don't feel as bad. We're talking 20 miles in.
Right.
It used to be there. So anyway, it helps athletes as well as people that are just trying to jumpstart their summer bod or eat on a healthy eating regimen or gotten themselves on an eating regimen and they're just wanting that extra boost, that extra metabolism boost. That's how I like to describe it. It kind of gives your metabolism a little kick.
Where is it injected?
Recovery too. It helps. We've had athletes tell us it helps us.
Yeah, I've had athletes talk about recovery, that they've done like a really good strength training session or hit the weights pretty hard and was expecting to be like, in the, basically down for the count after where everybody's experienced DOMS at some point, I'm sure, delayed onset muscle soreness. That being the case, this person came back and said, I didn't get sore. And I've noticed it myself, when I hit the gym or when I do any exercise, I've noticed that it does help eliminate a lot of soreness, a lot of that delayed onset muscle soreness. What was your question, Lisa?
Where's it injected? Just in
Where's it
arm?
injected? So I did mention earlier, I do acupuncture point injection therapy. You might go to somebody else and they might offer the mix shot, and they might do it. And like as we talked about earlier, most injections go in the shoulder or the hip. I use specific acupuncture points, which also going to help to benefit more conditions. So a lot of times I use the lower leg area. There's a point on the lower leg that I use because in Chinese medicine, we're talking about acupuncture. That's a point that was used for back in the military days. The troops used to use it for, they called it leg 3 miles. So meaning when they're marching, they're running out of juice, they're getting tired, they would do acupuncture or acupressure or whatever it is out in the field, and it would give them that little bit of energy boost to go that extra 3 miles. Now that's a point on your lower leg that's actually really good for a lot of digestive issues that a lot of people have nowadays. We talked about metabolizing fat already. That's what it's doing. So this is actually helping sometimes with digestion. It's going to help your body digest. Maybe, after you've eaten a big meal, you might feel bloated or distended. That's a point that actually could help with that. So when I'm leaving the solution behind, your body takes a little bit of time to digest that solution or absorb that solution. That's actually during that time, that solution is stimulating that acupuncture point. If that makes sense.
Might help with all my burping issues.
Well, no, that just limit the alcohol. You'll be all right with the burping.
No, sometimes when I lay down to go to bed, I'd have like 100 burps in a row, like tiny little burps, like there's bubbles or something in my.
I thought you were doing it just to be annoying.
That too.
No, it was the alphabet, right? It was the alphabet.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now,
people are like TMI, Lisa.
Now, since you are handling marketing, right? You're doing a little operation, a little marketing for the company.
Yeah. So
where are you?
Yes, we are located downtown Claremont on 7th Street. So if you are familiar with the area, we are in the green building just next to the Methodist Church there.
And where can we find you online?
precisionintegrative.com.
Phone numbers?
352-901-4513.
That's it for the tricky questions.
It was like,
right.
Yeah, Ken has his number scrolling on the bottom, but
right. What we'll do when we do the link is we'll have their information. People can just click right through and we'll get that information.
You can find us on Facebook and
Instagram,
all those places too, and all the information's there as well.
Yeah, best thing to do, everybody, is go to social media. Find Precision Integrative on Facebook, Instagram, like them, or follow them. This way you can keep track of what they're up to and who they're fixing and who needs fixing. Send them their way. So we can definitely do that. A couple other questions. I like to have a little fun with our guests also. Now, Dustin, you may know Kelly Brown from the Claremont Police Department. She was at she spoke at the event we went to a couple of weeks ago. And one of the questions that I asked her was how much her belt weighs, because it's belt, cuffs, guns, things like that. She had 20 pounds. So as a firefighter, what does your gear weigh once you are dressed and rolling?
So I want to say it's about 45 pounds.
45 pounds. And that's with your Scott pack, jacket.
The packs have changed a lot over the years.
Right.
They've gotten bigger because they want to be able to. The problem is a lot of guys go into a fire, they do a lot of work, you're breathing really heavy, and you burn your pack up really quick. So we used to have those 30-minute bottles or 45-minute bottles. You go into a fire, they only last you about 5 minutes.
Right.
Because you're doing a bunch of work, so you're huffing down that air pretty quick. So the packs have gotten a little bit heavier. They've gotten a lot more intricate over time because they're putting heads-up displays now on them. They're putting a lot of computerized stuff on them because they want to be able to find you if you go down.
Right.
So they're weighing a little bit more. But the old school basic packs were about 45 pounds.
Right.
Now they might be somewhere, nearing much more than that, maybe 75, 80 pounds.
Wow.
Because the packs are getting big. The bottles are getting bigger. They're adding more electronics to them. They're adding, different pass systems to them. They're just adding a lot of stuff.
And that's just for air.
And that's just, that's your bunker gear plus your air pack.
Because back in the olden days when I was a volunteer and we would get into training, you would hear that damn bell go off and you'd have to get out quick because you're running out of air. And that's how I actually got hurt in training, because everything is speed, everything is time. And we were training out at Yap Hank on Long Island, which is like the premier place to train for firefighters. And we're volunteers, so we're even more stupid, because we don't know what we're doing. And so we pull up and I grab my gear, load up, and I go up this cement staircase, and I grab onto the steel railing that was there, and forgot to put my gloves on, and that sucked.
Yes.
So that was my day ended quickly. But look, I've got to say thank you for your service and doing all of that. I know that it's a lot. When you're called out on a car accident or a fire or some sort of a traumatic thing, it's big for everybody, and we definitely appreciate what you do out there, and keep doing it. And Sean, you're gonna have to save his ass at some point, because he's
all the time.
all the time. So for fun, I heard you guys have a boat.
We do, yes.
So what do you do, Sean, on the boat? Do you play captain, or do you what do you do? Does he let you drive the boat?
Let me.
Like I said earlier, at Precision Integrative Medicine, Sean is the boss, and Dr. Vaughn over there just does the dirty work.
No, I mean, we, like Dustin said earlier, we surf on the boat. We do have friends who are wakeboarders and wake skaters, so they'll come out and they'll take advantage of the wake and the wave. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, we both drive it. He does better at slow speeds because it's an inboard, so it takes a minute for when you turn right. He wants to think about it.
He's not used to the drift.
Oh, well.
Right.
Yeah.
You've been giving her a drift for all this time.
So
drifting through career.
Right. Dustin's driven boats before. I hadn't driven a boat till we owned one. We got one in 2018, I think. So I'm new to that in all aspects. I had never done water sports before. We moved up here and met people who had boats, and I immediately needed a wake boat because it was so much fun.
Oh, anytime you're on the water is fun, whether you're paddleboarding, boating, all of that stuff.
It's true.
How'd you guys meet?
Oh, do you want the real story or the fake one?
If the fake one's a better story, then to give the fake one. But if the
real and fake story, interesting.
What's the real story?
We met back in the day online, actually. So back in the day, it was not as normal now as it is to meet online.
I've met a lot of wives online.
Right? So, what we told people, because it was taboo and whatever, that we met at the climbing gym, but we actually met on fitnesssingles.com.
Oh, okay.
We
It's
have
not a plug for fitness.
No, it's not. Not sponsored. We had rock climbing in common, actually.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's how we met.
Nice.
I like to say that I picked him out of the catalog because I messaged him.
No, it was a calendar.
Or calendar.
Yeah,
it was the firefighter calendar for NASA. NASA's hottest firefighters.
Our first date was paddleboarding.
First date was.
He did great, so I was like, score.
That was the first day.
Somebody to go paddleboarding with me.
Yeah, she thought I'd fall, and I didn't fall.
I didn't think that.
I know.
I wasn't sure, but
That's how it is.
you did great.
Those kinds of things test you, because if you, I know, if I get drifted into the wind, I get frustrated, and he ends up having to come and rescue me. So they're always tests of, your relationships.
Wow. Well, our show is business, beats, because we cover music and beer. So with the beats section, Dustin, what's your first concert you went to?
First concert. It was probably Earth Day Birthday or something.
Earth Day? Is that a band?
No, it's like a festival.
Oh, a festival.
Where there's a ton of different bands. So
okay.
I have seen probably one of my earlier concerts was Fuel. Now I'm really trying to think.
Oh, Fuel, because they that song Hemorrhage, and which is perfect for a doctor to talk about fuel. He offers you fuel, and hopefully you don't hemorrhage from the needles, kind of thing. It's all the same. Sean, first concert. Don't say in sync.
Candlebox.
Candlebox. Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
Yes, and I've been to most Candlebox shows locally, and I've traveled to see them since I first saw them in 1996.
Wow.
This shows their age. Their first
I know. That's what
concert.
makes it fun. That's what makes it fun.
Mine was Debbie Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
It shows my age.
I mean, we both do look younger than we are.
Yeah, well, that is
He's
because
over
of the
40.
microcurrent stimulation, facial rejuvenation. So again, like they said, they're in their 70s. So I'm telling you, you got to hook up. Favorite place to be? Mountains or ocean?
Is lakes an option?
Well, if you go to Lake Tahoe, you can.
Lakes now.
Well,
I guess Ocean.
Mountains.
Oh, wow. Okay. Favorite food?
Ooh. Sushi.
Sushi.
Pizza.
Yeah, you said
Hey.
pizza, didn't you? That's my girl right there, pizza. Very good. Well, look, guys, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show tonight. It was an awesome show, and hopefully our listeners, some people tune in live, other people will wind up clicking on once it's on YouTube. They'll listen to it in the car on Spotify or iTunes. And thank you guys for coming in. It was a great night and a pleasure having you.
It was fun. Thank you
Sure,
guys.
thanks
Yes,
for having
thank you
us.
for coming in.
Lisa, sign us out.
Bye, everybody.